Hey guys, how's it going, eh? Todd, the cheap drums guy. So here we are again, out in the garage. A little bit of a mess, I don't care. I've been cleaning the freaking house all day. And it's just been a nightmare. We got guests coming and just gotta make sure everything is spick and span, nice and tidy. And I hate scrubbing the shower. That irritates the crap out of me. But anyways, we're down here with the remainder of that bass drum shell. And just about the only thing I can use it for is a UFO drum or a pancake drum, one of the smaller ones. And this is the remainder of that shell. And I want it about 5 inches deep. Okay, it's about 6.5 right now. It's kind of a hacked up cut on there because I didn't have the tool in there good enough. But let's see what kind of shell we're looking at here. 5. How high is this off the thing? Huh, almost 5 inches. Good enough for government work. So, my aim right now is to get it cut down even farther in a nice neat cut. I don't need to do a bearing edge on it. It's just, it's essentially a concert tom. You don't need a bearing edge on the open bottom part. But I'm going to cut it down a little bit more, about 1.5 inches off. And then I'm going to attach one of the tom mounts off one of the kits onto it to be able to connect it to like a cymbal stand. So let's see where we're at right now with this. This is going to be a little noisy. Probably should grab my safety glasses. Yeah, probably should. Hold on a second. Oops, did I start it? Stupid camera. Oh yeah, it's clicking. So, couldn't find my safety glasses in the garage. You know, I've got 15 pairs of the damn things, but when you need them, you can't find them. So I went out to the car, and these are actually my safety glasses from work. They look like sunglasses. Well, that's the reason why we got them at work, because they look like sunglasses. They serve two purposes. But my next door neighbor's out there, and with our kids, and I'm like, I gotta make a lot of noise here for about 2 minutes, and so I don't want you to worry about what the sound, because it sounds like a cat screeching when you cut with this thing. And she goes, what are you cutting? I said, I'm cutting a bass drum up. And she goes, oh, we were wondering if you played drums or something. We could hear you out in the hot tub. I'm like, oh, poop. She goes, that's all right, you can carry a tune. All right. But that made me feel bad. I don't like bugging my neighbors at all. But anyways, let's cut this sucker up and get this shit over with. That's not good. Where did I have to go? Son of a bitch. That break. Now would be a nice time for that little intermission 3 hours later. Did it break or what did it do? I just realized something. That's also very hot. Yeah, that was uncomfortable. Got about a foot to go too. You son of a bitch. I hope it didn't break. Please tell me it didn't break. I think that's the only friggin' bit I got on that thing. Son of a bitch. It broke. Well, I gotta find something else. Victory was mine. A little setback when, you know, a tool breaks, when you're not using it the proper way. But Mr. Jigsaw finished it up. And Mr. Sander cleaned up the edges a little bit. Now, I did cut it a little cattywampus. It's about 1/16 of an inch thicker on this side. However, that is where I'll put the mount, so it'll kind of disguise it. Probably put it right in here. So let me go get the mount and mark it up and get it set right. I can't put it any higher than the lugs, of course, because the hoop is going to sit there. I don't want it to interfere at all with any of the hoop and stuff like that and any of the lugs. So when I set it, well, I could probably actually just put a dead nut center. Should be fine. Yeah, let me try that. Remember when I said not to throw anything away? Well, here's the UFO shell. And here, I still have some of the black wrap left because I didn't get rid of any of it. I kept it for snare straps or whatever else I might need it for. But I've got just enough, including a hole, to go over the UFO drum, and where that hole is, I'll probably put the bass drum mount right there. I'm not worried about getting the seams all perfect and whatnot. I mean, it is what it is. But now I'll have to get all the lugs off, get that on there and drill the holes, and I might staple it. I might hold it better, then I get the holes drilled better, but it's coming along. Don't rush me, I'm going. So, didn't want to be downstairs in the garage doing this, because I don't like being in the garage doing anything. And didn't want to be in the drum room doing anything, because I got the laundry going, and the washer and dryers are making all sorts of racket. So I'm upstairs, where it's quote, quiet, and I got the Roomba right now. The Roomba's going in the house. We call him Mr. Belvedere. He's our butler. He's doing the floors, and he's in the bathroom right now, going over the tile, so you hear this, not only the sweeper, and then clunk, 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 clunk. Sounds like he's stuck on something. These stupid Roomba things. They're actually kind of smart. They're kind of cool, but they clean the hell out of your floor, but man, they get stuck a lot. All right, so I got all the lugs off. Yeah, just waiting for my wife to come home, hoping she'll say, hey, I'm gonna stop at BK or something to get a Coke. Do you want something? And I'm gonna say, hell yeah, give me a double Whopper with cheese. This is my weekends. I can junk food out if I want. I don't like drinking Coke out of the can. I'd rather have a fountain drink, just because there's a lot less Coke in it and more water. But with these sound percussion lab ones, and you take the lugs off, they got these little, I don't know, can't remember what we call them, little doodads that go underneath it. But I got the wrap cut, and she's a little long. I gotta cut it. Well, actually, she's not too bad, but I think I'll keep. See, well, I gotta fix it on there. What I'm gonna do, of course, I gotta drop it down a little bit, so for the bearing edge and whatnot. The bottom, they make some kind of product, I don't know what it is. It's for edging. I have edging downstairs in the garage. It's chrome edging for like a car door. I've got a big roll of that, but it's not big enough to go along this as like a trim piece. And if I can remember what the crap called, they also make a rubber material that you can use for an edging piece. And if I can remember what it's called, I'll run out to the hardware store and get some. But so far so good. I'm gonna have to do it right up to the bearing as close as I can, and then I can just go around and cut the excess off, and then put it back on my table and take a razor blade and mount it to my workbench about, I don't know, 1/4 inch high, and just spin this around, running up against the razor blade, which will give it a nice clean cut around. Actually, if I just say screw it because it'll cover it up, yeah, I won't even bother with, I'll just get it up to where the bearing edge is like supposed to be on here, like right here, and then I'll just cut off the excess off the bottom. It'll just be easier that way. But now, get all the fun part, drill all the holes out of the plastic, or once I get the wrap secured. I think I might put a staple on the one end to hold it on, and then wrap it around, put some glue down, cut it to fit, put some glue down on that edge, and then get a couple of the lugs drilled out, and then put a couple of lugs right in that area just to hold it real good. Then I go around and fix everything, and then I'm going to use one of these tom holders. I think this is the one that came off the SPL base. Yeah, that came off the SPL base drum. And I'll use that, and use that for the mount. And we're looking good, looking pretty good so far. The only head I got for it right now, I have I think it's a Remo Emperor coated. This is a 20-inch, right? Yeah, I think the only 20-inch head I got laying around, not being utilized, is a Remo Emperor, and that should give a pretty decent sound. It should be all right. I mean, it's a UFO drum. It's supposed to sound deep and thuddy, and with no, and it's supposed to cut off right there. It's like a shallow depth concert tom, and it's pretty cool. And my wife's stuck in traffic out on between 5 Mile Road and 4 Mile Road along the bay. Traffic's backed up as far as you can see, so it must have been a head-on collision. And living up here in northern Michigan, it could be one of three things that causes the most accidents up here. You have a redneck showing off. You have a lady in a minivan with 15 kids, distracted, texting on her phone, or looking at YouTube or Facebook or whatever. Or you also have that middle-aged crisis guy with the hot rod car, like a Challenger or something like that, Dodge Challenger, trying to impress everybody by zooming around. But considering where she's stuck at in traffic, it's right before it goes divided highway. So yeah, someone's probably showing off across the center line, but traffic's blocked off on both sides, which probably means it's a fatal accident. Usually if it's just a fender bender, a real good one, they'll just put out cones and split everybody up. There's the mail guy. But I'll be back when there's more progress. You know, this project was a bigger pain in the ass than I thought it was going to be. If it's not one thing, it's another. You know, trying to do this project on top of trying to spit shine a house, getting it all cleaned up for guests, for both guests tomorrow and guests next weekend, and just all the other odds and ends and chores. What a pain in the ass. And I seem to have run into a little snag. I wasn't thinking too clearly and had a little bit of a brain fart, and I'll have to work through it somehow. But let me show you what I ended up with. All right, that's her. And as you see, I added a floor tom leg mount to help support it on the end, because she's a little top heavy. Now the cut on the wrap was a little trickier to cut than I thought. I didn't do it very well, but it's on there, what the hell. And I really didn't bother too much with the wrap around the bearing edge. You know, for what it is, does it have to be perfect? Oh, hell no, it does not. But that's what she looks like. And yeah, I have 3 moon gels on there for the good reason that I thought I had a coated Emperor head for it, but alas, I did not. I have a cheap head that came with the kit. So I think I ended up cutting that one up for something, I'm not sure. But she's all back together, and you probably wonder how it sounds. Well, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't sound as good as if it had a really good head on it, but I'll go through it anyways. But there's the single tom mount from the bass drum I used to mount it here. And then, like I said, it was a little heavy, so I did mount a floor tom leg there, but I didn't take into account that the drum was going to sit up a little higher, just for the fact of where it was. Well, I'll have to keep it low anyways, because it is a little bit lower than the regular floor tom next to it. But this is it so far, and you probably want to hear it. All right, like I said, this isn't the right head for it, but I put the 3 moon gels on there just to tone it down a bit. And this is a really thin bass drum batter head. And once I get a decent coated 2-ply on there, or just a regular 2-ply, like a bigger one, if they even make them, I'm sure they do, it'll sound much better. But this is what I've got so far. I haven't tuned it up. I just tightened up the tension rods to a certain point and called it good. I get a better head on it. I get a better head on it, she'll turn out better, or sound a lot better. She's just doesn't have the real deepness to it yet, but I get a better head on it, and not that really cheap basic head on there. It should sound a lot better, but it turned out all right, and I'm kind of happy with it. It's interesting, and it's not the result isn't something I'd probably just end up scrapping and throwing out. I actually kind of like it, and I'll actually probably move it over there next to the snare, find a different spot for the snare a little bit, or put it closer to the 14-inch, and then slide that 20-inch right in there. But she turned out all right. But anyways, I got a lot of stuff to do, guys. You guys have a great weekend, and be good to each other. Well, let's try that again. It's gonna be a lot better when I get a better head on there. Good enough for